All right, everybody, I am in my car. This is a little bit of a different video than normal. I'm in my car, fresh out of Exorcist Believer. Blumhouse strikes again. Blumhouse strikes again. And I'll kind of explain what I'm talking about there. So, David Gordon Green, the director of this movie, who just is kind of fresh off of directing Halloween 2018 Kills and Halloween Ends, which was just a whole different, that's a whole different topic for discussion. A lot of like highs and lows with that trilogy there. Obviously now jumps right into another big IP, The Exorcist, right? The original Exorcist from 1973. Obviously a legendary movie. I think the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time, the highest grossing Warner Brothers movie of all time, if you account for inflation and stuff like that. Just a legendary movie, you know, great score, great acting, scary. I was talking to my dad about the movie earlier today, like, hey, did you see it in the 70s? He was like, oh yeah, it scared the shit out of me. So Exorcist Believer. All right. First, I guess I'll get into some goods in the movie. I thought the acting in the movie was pretty good. That was pretty solid. Angela's dad in the movie, I don't remember his name, obviously. Like I said, this is not like a prepared thing here. I'm just kind of off the cuff, just kind of talking about my thoughts immediately after seeing the movie. And I try to go into these movies, especially Blumhouse movies, not really watching trailers and stuff like that, not really researching anything, because it's just, you know how it is nowadays. There's just way too many spoilers, right? Even when the trailers are coming on, when I'm watching another movie to review, I kind of look away. I just look at my phone and just let it do its thing. So some of the names I'm going to probably get wrong and stuff like that. So sue me. We'll do a full spoiler review this weekend, and we'll get into more of like the sweaty, nitty-gritty stuff when that time comes and whatnot. But anyways, characters I thought overall were pretty good. I thought Angela's dad, whatever his name is, I've seen him in some other stuff. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But I thought he was good. I think that he did a good job playing that role. And there wasn't anything from him that stood out as really a negative for me. They had some good callbacks in this. Oh, by the way, this is going to be spoiler free too. So, but they had some good callbacks to the original, which was cool. Obviously we've got, McNeil, I think her name is McNeil, right? This is late. My brain's all over the place. She comes back for a big portion of this movie. We also, actually, I'm not going to say that. That's going to be more of a spoiler on some other, characters and whatnot. But anyways, overall, the characters in the movie I thought were okay. I'll get into that a little bit more in a second, though. There were some creepy parts to the movie, which I did enjoy. The movie doesn't rely on a lot of jump scares like some movies that just came out recently do. But not a lot of like overused jump scares that just feel kind of corny. There is some good creepiness in the movie. The first half of the movie, you're kind of wondering, okay, what's going on here, right? What's going on here? It's a very different setting than the original movie. We're set in the South in this one for the majority of the movie, which I didn't mind. I didn't mind that aspect of it. And, but yeah, the creepiness of the movie overall was decent. It was decent. The underlying story, just overall plot of the movie as well, I thought was okay. I thought you could do something with that, you know, whether or not they do a good job with the plot or the underlying just overall thought that they had going into the movie. We'll talk about that in just a second. But overall, I thought what they had there as a concept was decent. It was a pretty good idea, whoever wrote that script. But overall, I liked most of the characters in the movie. Not all of them, most of them. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in just a second. But yeah, some other good aspects. I thought the movie looked good. I thought the practical effects, I'm assuming the practical effects, just the makeup effects in general were really, really good, really, really creepy. I thought the girls that they casted for certain parts, you know, and especially, you know, Angela, who, and anyways, just a lot of the people who they casted and some of the makeup they did on some of the characters and stuff like that, I thought was really, really good. But now let's get into some of the negatives. And this is going to be a little bit of a shorter video because, like I said, this is kind of an instant reaction, off the cuff kind of a thing. So let's get into some of the negatives. So I'm just going to give it to you. I didn't hate the movie. I thought the movie was okay. There's the first half, well, specifically the first half of the movie I thought was okay. The second half of the movie I thought was pretty bad. There's a certain moment in the movie where it just goes downhill for me very, very quickly. I don't want to say if it's necessarily in the middle or if it's kind of in the third act of the movie, but it goes downhill very, very quickly. I thought the first half of the movie was okay. I was kind of like, okay, this is decent. Like, they're taking their time in scenes. They're kind of building the tension a little bit. They're not doing anything too cheap or too corny. You're still kind of wondering what's going on here with the plot. What happened to these kids? Did they get abducted? Like, what happened here? And I mean, and that also happens in the original. From what I remember, you don't fully know how they became possessed, if I remember correctly. I just watched it recently, so I should probably remember. But damn, I'm getting old, all right? Leave me alone. But in this one, they do kind of keep you wondering, like, okay, how'd this happen? What's going on here? And I thought that part was nice. In the original, though, the priest in the movie was a legend. The guy plays that role so well. He has so much charisma. He's such a well-liked character in the story. They build his backstory so much in that movie. He's just a big part of the movie, which is kind of an obvious thing because he's going to, you would think a priest is going to be a big part of the end of the movie. So let's establish that character a little bit more. And they don't really do that in this movie. Just overall, the priest, just in general in this movie, not good. And we'll get into that a little bit more in like the full spoiler review over the weekend and stuff like that. So, but other than that, the ending to the movie, not good. The ending to the movie was just not good at all. And that just factors into the whole second half of the movie, kind of a thing that I mentioned a second ago about it just not being that great. Ending of the movie, didn't like it. I know a lot of people all over social media is kind of shitting on this movie recently, at least just what I've seen. There might be a lot of people also saying good things. This is at least what I've seen. And I'm not taking that into account. I don't really care what other people say about a movie. Don't really care. This is just kind of my genuine thoughts about the movie. And first half of the movie, there's some good things. They got something going there. But overall, it's just kind of generic. Nothing really stands out as good or unique or, unusual. It kind of feels like, some parts of Halloween, they took a very famous name and just slapped a movie within that name. They could have easily just taken this movie, made it into a different IP, its own thing with its own unique name. Obviously would have made a lot less money, but regardless, I don't think this movie should have been called The Exorcist. Not because there isn't any exorcisms, obviously there is, but just because it's like, come on, man. Like, this doesn't feel like the original at all. It just doesn't feel like that movie, other than the little winks that you give, bringing back these little Easter eggs from the original. Other than that, it just doesn't really feel like the original. So overall, I mean, the movie was okay. I guess. It wasn't that great. It was probably pretty bad overall, if I really think about it. Like I said, this is just off the cuff, straight out of the theater. Like, the theater's right there. So, I would probably give this movie, for scares, I would probably give this movie like a 6 out of 10. Maybe a 6.5 out of 10 for scariness. And then just as far as just the overall entertainment and how good I thought the movie was, out of 10, I would probably give this movie, it a 6 out of 10. That's probably what I'd give it. But anyways, guys, kind of rambled there. Like I said, I'm just kind of going just off my head here, straight out of the theater. So just as out of a theater reaction. Make sure you subscribe if you're new here to the channel. If you enjoy horror content, I got a lot of stuff on the channel. A lot of stuff coming for the rest of October. A lot of cool stuff. So make sure you subscribe to the channel to be notified when those videos come out. But if you made it this far, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.